We're looking at number 11 from the 2015 released items, and they tell me that I have 4 lines and 4 congruent angles. Anytime that I see a picture that looks like this, I like to fill in any angle measures that I can determine based off of what I know. So I'm going to start by filling in vertical angles because they're probably the easiest one for me to fill in. Vertical angles are the angles that sit across from each other when 2 lines intersect. So I've just highlighted a pair of vertical angles. They kind of make it look like a bow tie. So what I'm going to do now is fill in the angle measure. Vertical angles are congruent to each other, so I can just copy over that 89.9. And now I'm going to do that for all of my vertical angles. So I'm given this 89.9. I know that across from that will also be 89.9. And I'm going to go ahead and fill that in for my other 2 as well. I also can determine another part of the angles. Let me change the color on that. Let's just make it a different color. I can also determine the other part of the angles because I have linear pairs. What I know about linear pairs is that they add up to 180 degrees because they're supplementary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 180 and subtract off 89.9. What I end up getting is 90.1. So I know that this angle up here is 90.1. Well, now I can fill in its vertical angle. And then I can use linear pairs again to determine that this angle here is 90.1. And I know its vertical angle. And I can again use linear pairs to figure out that this angle is 90.1. And then I'd have its vertical angle. So now I'm being asked about whether lines are parallel down here. This symbol means parallel. So if you don't know that, write that down. And you can remember that because the 2 L's in parallel look a lot like it. So something that I like to do is look across one line onto the other. If every single angle measure matches up with the one below it, then I'm good to go and those lines are parallel. And I just realized I forgot to fill in these 2 angle measures, but based off of the linear pairs, I would get that they're 90.1 as well. Okay. What I'm going to do is put a check mark if they match up. I'm going to put them on the end. So does 90.1 match up with 90.1? Yes. Does 89.9 match up with 89.9? Yes. Does 89.9 match up with 89.9? Yes. Does 90.1 match up with 90.1? Yes. Now I'm going to look at the bottom part. 89.9 and 89.9? Yes. 90.1 and 90.1? Yes. 90.1 and 90.1? Yes. And 89.9 and 89.9. Awesome. So now I can say that M is parallel to N. But I'm not quite sure about that P and Q. So let's investigate those. So I'm going to circle along P and look to Q. Now I'm going to check those ones off in purple. Is 90.1 congruent to 89.9? They do not match up, and all I need is that one angle. So I do not get to say that P is parallel to Q. So the only thing I can say is that M is parallel to N. So let's look at our choices and see which one matches up with that. That would be choice A. So I'm done.